Welcome to the This Baker Life podcast. We are back this week and we are talking about something that's a little important to me because as a business owner, and if you're a business owner or even a salesperson in general, you've had this happen before. We're talking about ghosting. And no, we're not talking about the dating apps. We're talking business ghosting. I've written about this before on my LinkedIn page. We're going to talk about it right now because it keeps happening and it needs to stop right now on This Baker Life. All right, welcome back. Thank you to everyone who's liked and subscribed. Please hit that like button and also that little bell to tell you when new videos like this one come up. And this one is, we try to stay mostly positive on This Baker Life, and we're going to continue to do that. But here's what I think we need to discuss today. We need to discuss business ghosting. Just say no. Okay, this is really all we have to really emphasize right out of the gate. If you're somebody who's been approached by a salesperson who's trying to sell you something, whether it's B2B, this is really happening in the B2B space. This isn't actually happening in B2C very much. So for those unfamiliar, B2C is business to client. So this is somebody you're selling just the general public to. And then also there's B2B, which is business to business. So if you're in business to sales, which I have been for years and years and years, if you are a business owner who's constantly selling, you're always selling, right? You're always business to business, especially as a business owner. You've probably started to see this happen a lot more lately, and probably to almost an epidemic side of things. This is a real problem, and it doesn't seem to be going away. It seems to be getting worse. And the problem with this is that we are no longer acknowledging that salespeople and others have put an effort into you. So let's start right from the beginning here. Let's start with the scenario we're talking about right now. So let's say you have gone to a trade show. Let's start right at a trade show. And you have had a great conversation. You networked with these people. You had a 5-minute, really good, tight conversation about meeting and talking a little bit further about what it is that you do and what you have to sell and your solution, and you're excited about it and you believe in it. You're doing everything that your sales manager has taught you. You're doing everything that you believe in your own business, and you have garnered the interest of this person that you actually just spoke to, and you're excited. You've got their business card, but better yet, because you know how I always say in networking, it's about getting the appointment. If you got that appointment, that's even better. It's already in your calendar. You got a Zoom booked, you got a coffee booked, you got a lunch booked, it's there. This isn't where the ghosting happens. This is not where business ghosting happens. This keeps going. Sometimes this happens where they just no-show you on the appointment, but no-shows have been happening for years. That's not a big thing. It hurts, but it's not a big thing. What is still happening or starting to happen more is this. So we now get to that meeting. We have a great sales presentation, probably the best we've ever had. We were sitting there and they seem really interested, and they may not be the final decision maker, but they are a decision maker. They are somebody who's going to take this back, see if they can fit it into their budget, see if their budget will hold this wonderful solution you're presenting to them, because what you do is great. They've already told you that. You feel good about it. Your belief came through and you sold the hell out of it. And then you say, okay, well, that's great. I will follow up with you in the next few days, or maybe you set it for a week. Don't ever set it for longer than that. And you know why we do that, right? Just again to circle back, that is why we do this, is we don't want the shine to wear off of what it is you're selling. Even if what you're selling is absolutely amazing, the shine always wears off eventually. So we want to make sure we have that quick follow-up. We want to make sure it's within a few days, or at the very latest within a week. You set that follow-up, everybody's happy, everybody's good. And then you send that email, or you make that phone call, leave that message, whatever it is, a week from now, and you say, hey, this is great. I'm glad you looked at the quote. I'm glad you shared this with your boss. I'm glad you shared this with the decision makers of the company. If there's any other question, you do it softly initially. If there's any other questions, please let me know. And obviously we'd love to get started on this for you if you can try to close that sale right there. Then time goes by. No email before the end of the day. That's fine. That happens all the time. Another day goes by. Nothing. Weekend hits. It's Friday now, so you know you're not going to get an email on Saturday or Sunday, so you kind of just wait. Now a week goes by. Here we are 1 week later, the next Wednesday, still no response from the person that was basically ready to buy at the table. And then what we do is we continue to create follow-ups. We continue to send emails. We continue to try and figure this out because this person has to be interested. They said they were interested. They said they were going to share this with the decision maker. They said, and yet no reply. Now you start to look at this and you're the salesperson. You start to look at this has got to be me. I must have said something in that sales meeting. I must have done something wrong. How did the shine wear off? Now we're 4 weeks in. The shine's probably totally worn off. They just don't understand it anymore. Probably don't even remember your product anymore. What the heck happened? Well, what happened was that person is not a very good business professional. That's what happened. Okay. This is not your fault as a salesperson. This is not your fault as a business owner. This is not your fault. This is entirely and 100% the fault of an unprofessional business person. And you can't take it personally. If you are a salesperson that put all your all into it, that's your job. That's what you're asked to do. That's what you did. And this person's being completely rude, completely disrespectful. It's an absolute disrespect to not reply to somebody with a no. And if you're the person that's doing this to people, listen up. That is a garbage business practice. It is a garbage business practice. And it shows you have no idea how to do your job. And I get it. Everybody in the world is busy. Since the pandemic, it's even worse. People are just busy. There's a lot of different things they do. They don't even see people anymore. And I'm going to tell you, I think this is where this comes from. We used to see people in business. We used to build relationships in business. We used to make sure that we coddle those relationships. I mean, that person that you ghost could be your boss someday. Have some forethought. You know, like it's kind of interesting to see the lack of respect, but also the lack of forethought in what ghosting really means in the business world. What are you doing? Like if you want a job with that company, you can bet especially for a small business owner, if that person's trying to sell you something and you ghost them, you're never getting a job there. Just so you know, you just took that right out. Because why would I want somebody who's going to ghost my clients or my potential clients? Why would I want someone like that? Why would I want someone who refuses to build a business relationship, even if we don't want that product or can't use that product or it doesn't fit for us? Why would I want somebody who cannot simply reply no? Why would I hire that person? So not only have you ruined the relationship from a sales perspective, I don't really want to approach your company ever again to see if my solution works. And when my solution hits, when my solution goes through the roof, which we've had this experience at BHB TV where we're now going through the roof and we've had other people ghost us. Well, guess what? Now I have no interest in having business relationships with you. And the great thing is I'm also never going to hire you. So if you ever see a job posted for my position for my company and you ghosted me as part of our sales relationships, well, guess what? I don't want you doing that to any of our clients. So I have no interest in you. And it's just that simple. It's just that simple. And this might sound like a really harsh conversation. This might sound like a really harsh way to do, but learn to do your job. Learn to do your job. Learn to have respect. What happened to respect? And so it is a policy of ours. And you know, people say, well, you guys have the brokers helping brokers moniker. You have to do that. You have to develop relationships because that's what you're all about. Well, yeah, it is. But that's how relationships work. That's how client relationships work. That's whether it's B2B, B2C, I don't give a crap which one it is. That's how client relationships work. Okay. And those relationships are relationships you should have at all times. When we say no to a vendor that reaches out to us and tries to sell us something as a company, we always tell them why we can't use it right now. Always. We will never ignore an email. We will never ignore a phone call. And it is our policy as brokers helping brokers to do that, but it is our policy as human beings. It is our policy as thoughtful business owners. It is our policy to know that this could be a relationship that down the road, maybe they tweak that product, maybe they make it a little better or something that we can use a little more. And we need them again. You think we're going to ever get a discount or a good deal on that product by ghosting them? Not a chance. You just cost yourself even more money. So not only did you cost yourself potentially the relationship, you cost yourself potentially discounts, you cost yourself money. What kind of a person, what kind of an organization hires a person like that that's going to cost them extra money, that costs them relationships, that costs them these things? Ghosting is not okay in any form, but it is really not okay in the business world. It is really not okay. And just let it happen to you once and see if you agree. Because there'll be commenters, there'll be people in this email or in this podcast that are going to say, man, you're being rude, or you're being negative, or you're being, blah, blah. I'm busy. I spend a lot of time on the computer. I write a lot of emails. I send a lot of TikToks. I post a lot on my social medias. I can't have time to write a one-line email that says, unfortunately, your service is not for us. And here's what I want to clarify about this. This is not the scenario where the person reaches out via email and you just don't reply because you don't even have a sales conversation with them. This is not the person that sends you that random LinkedIn message as a lead generator that doesn't even understand or didn't even read your profile. You want to ghost those people? Go right ahead. I do it too. Right? If you didn't take the time to read my profile and you don't know what I do and you offer me something that's completely outlandish or way off of what I do, I'm not going to reply to you because you didn't take the time to research me. You just sent me a mass email, and that's fine. That ghosting is just fine. What I'm talking about is the person that you maybe had 1, 2, 3 meetings with on a sales process. Perhaps you were even down the road of writing a contract up for them, and all of a sudden they disappear. They just completely disappear because some decision maker said no, or some way it doesn't fit in the budget, and they're gone. And instead of taking and having the courtesy and having the professionalism of writing an email to you and saying, unfortunately, this just doesn't fit into our budget this year, or unfortunately, the answer was just simply no, that's not part of our strategy this year. If you say that to me, I don't feel disrespected at all. And I'll come back with the discount again 2 years from now, whenever it is that we're going to talk about doing this again. But if you ghost me, I have a terrible taste in my mouth about dealing with you as a company and dealing with you in particular as a person. And so you really hurt your own company. You really hurt your own company by ghosting. And the worst part about a lot of this is large corporations don't even know their people are doing this. How would they? Unless they're monitoring their emails and saying, hey, did you respond to Clark? Did you respond to Sarah? Did you respond to Tiffany? Nope. Well, why not? Like if I'm sitting there and I'm doing a review with you and I say, this person approached us about this product. How did you treat them? How did you send them away? We said no. We know we said no. How did you send them away? Oh, I didn't. What do you mean you didn't? Well, I didn't say anything. Why not? Well, because we didn't do it. Okay, but you don't have the professionalism built within you as a business person, as a relationship builder, to write them back and say, unfortunately, this doesn't fit for us right now. We have a much bigger conversation to start having right now, right? We need to bring this back into business. We need to eliminate business ghosting. It takes 10 seconds, folks. Sometimes you can even have a canned email in your CRM. If you're on Salesforce, if you're on Zoho, you're on HubSpot, wherever you are, you can sometimes have a canned email that says, unfortunately, like you don't even have to really write it. Just send it. If you have an email that says, hey, thanks for chatting with us. Thanks for going through what you offer. Unfortunately, at this time, it doesn't fit into our budget. Or unfortunately, at this time, this isn't the strategy or the way the company is going. But thank you. When you do that, you keep the respect, you keep the professionalism. It took you 48 seconds at the most. And if I ever want to hire you, I'm probably going to consider you. Yep, you said no to me, didn't buy my product, but you were respectful and you were a human and you actually said no. You actually said something to me. Business ghosting is probably the biggest professional crime that's not an actual crime that we're seeing right now. It is a huge problem. And you need to get your people straight. You need to make sure your teams that are dealing with vendors, that are dealing with salespeople, that are dealing with people that are approaching you to partner, to do business together, are doing it the way it should be done, which is to build relationships, even if you don't go with the person. Build relationships. Just because we all work behind these Zoom walls now, just because we all work from home, doesn't mean people don't exist out there. And so it is imperative, out of just pure professionalism and ethics, to say no. To say no if you need to. What is the problem here? We're going to leave this one at this. I want to know your opinion. Do you think I'm being too harsh here? Do you think I'm being too harsh on these people that just don't write you back? Is it really truly that we're all just too busy to have relationships with people? Is it a lack of respect? I can tell you it is. I mean, you might disagree with me, but you're wrong, because I don't see how it couldn't be a lack of respect. Somebody put the time and the effort and the wherewithal behind their appointment to spend time in their day, to spend time in their lives that we don't all get back, to discuss something with you, and you ghost them, and you don't think that's a lack of respect? Think again.